Hey everyone, today I'm talking about Air Canada stock. It's down more than 30% since the start of the year and trading around its 52-week low. Could the stock be a good buy right now as it trades around $15 per share? Let's take a look at the bullish and bearish cases for buying Air Canada stock. First, let's start with the bullish view. The stock doesn't just look cheap, it is cheap. It's at a price to earnings multiple of just over 3, and even on a forward basis, it's at less than 7. And the stock itself isn't just at a 52-week low, but it's also at the levels it was at during the COVID crash back in 2020. Prior to that, the stock was at more than $50 a share. If it could get back to those highs, then you'd be looking at more than tripling your money from where it is right now. The stock is also hovering around oversold territory with an RSI of 30. This is a sign that there has been a lot of heavy selling in the past couple weeks, and it could be a sign of an overreaction in the markets. And when there's an overreaction, that could make it an opportune time to buy the stock. As for fundamentals, Air Canada is one of the few airlines in Canada. It dominates the market along with WestJet. There are smaller rivals, but there's not a whole lot of competition for Air Canada to worry about domestically. Internationally is a bit of a different story, but it's still a top Canadian airline, and that isn't likely to change anytime soon. It has strong competitive moat that should make it a fairly good investment to hang on to for the long term. The company's financial results also look much stronger than they have in the past. In 2022 and 2021, it posted significant losses of well over $1 billion. But last year, it posted a profit of nearly $1.8 billion, and prior to that, its earnings were north of $2.2 billion. The company does seem to be going in the right direction. And while the market may be worried about the short term, in the long run, this makes for a fairly stable business to invest in. Demand for air travel may falter in a recession, but as the COVID recovery has shown us, it's not going to stay down for long. Now, let's switch over to the bearish point of view. The biggest cause for concern is the economy, and that's due to tariffs. A prolonged trade war with the US could send the Canadian economy into a recession. That's a big problem for Air Canada because it means fewer people will have money to travel, and businesses are also going to be cutting back on expenses, and that's going to include unnecessary travel. That's the big uncertainty with Air Canada today. Is while the business has been doing well, the future may not look all that bright. And with Trump just starting his presidency recently, this kind of turbulence could weigh on the economy for not just years, but perhaps his entire term. Air Canada's stock may be near its lows, but the problem is that it could still go lower, especially if the outlook isn't good for the economy. The stock hasn't been doing well with the economy in fairly strong shape. Now imagine how bad things can get for it if things are really bad and there's no hope of a recovery in sight. It's not hard to see why the stock may plummet even further. Then there's the ongoing labor negotiation with flight attendants. There's the risk that may cause a disruption in the near future. And even if it doesn't, a big increase in wages will inevitably mean higher costs for Air Canada, putting pressure on its margins, which means its financials could feel the strain on both sides, rising costs and lower revenue due to a slowdown in demand. So, where does that leave investors? Buy Air Canada stock or avoid it? I think at $15 it could be a good buy. There's short-term uncertainty and fluctuations, but I think the stock can get back to $20 at some point. And if it does, you've netted yourself a gain of more than 30% in the process by buying right now. Plus, with Trump, he changes his mind and pivots a lot. While tariffs are concerned, he's paused them before and gone back and forth on them. And so it's not a foregone conclusion that whatever he puts into effect will stay that way for his entire term. What may determine how friendly he is with Canada is who wins the federal election and whether he'll be on good terms with the new Prime Minister. If so, then perhaps the tariffs and trade wars won't be as big of a concern. Either way, I think it'll be a volatile 4 years, but amid that volatility, there will be some positive developments along the way, which could at least temporarily boost Air Canada stock. And given how cheap the stock looks right now, I think it may be worth taking a chance on it. Even if it doesn't recover rapidly, this is still a fairly safe stock to hang on to in your portfolio. So, what do you think about Air Canada stock? Is it a buy or a sell? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more of these types of videos.